and welcome to my Four Boys and an NL Girl podcast. It is Thursday, the 8th of December, and I'm so glad to be joining you after a 2-week break from podcasting. Last week, my boys were home for parent-teacher interview day and then a professional development day for the teachers, and that was both Thursday and Friday, so I didn't have opportunity to tape a podcast. So I'm back. It feels a little bit strange to be podcasting after only 2 weeks off, but it feels a little bit weird. So I hope that you will be patient with my nervousness, because I am a little bit nervous again. I guess when I tape every week, I'm a little more on a roll, and this week I kind of feel like I'm starting over again. I'd like to say welcome to anybody who's new to the podcast, who's checking me out for the first time. Thanks so much for joining me. And a huge welcome for returning viewers. I appreciate it so much that you come back week after week and join me on my little podcast. I am coming to you from the most easterly province in Canada, Newfoundland and Labrador. In fact, I live at almost the most easterly tip of North America, and that's in Canada. If I haven't said it before, my name is Patty, and this podcast is about knitting and crocheting, rug hooking, cross-stitching, sewing, quilting, basically about making all the things. I'm a really creative person, and I enjoy making a variety of different things. And that's what this podcast is about. So you're going to see a bunch of different things in the podcast today. I'm going to show you some knitting, and I'm going to show you some rug hooking today. So after 2 weeks off, I'm afraid I don't have any finished objects to show you, because I kind of got waylaid by the Black Friday sales that happened a couple weeks ago. Craftsy on craftsy.com had a sale on some of their classes, or all of their classes, I'm not sure. Anyway, the classes that I were interested in were on sale, and I decided to sign up for, or to purchase, one of the colorwork classes, and I'll put the exact title and teacher's name at the bottom of the screen in case you're interested as well. And I really blame this on the Black Friday sales, because I had no interest, or I had an interest, but I had no intention of starting a new project. I was working away on my Pure Joy shawl and was planning on getting that finished before I started anything else. And then the classes went on sale, and if you purchase a colorwork class, it makes you really excited about starting colorwork, which I've never tried before, and so I tried it out and really enjoyed it. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to show you the very first project that I started on. I had started a pair of mittens, which I did post on Instagram, so if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen that. Alright, I'm back. I changed my mind. I am going to show you these mittens. So these, I'll show you this side because you can see the waist cotton that I've used for the afterthought thumb. And again, I cannot remember the name of this pattern. I think they're called Movie Night Mittens, and I'll put the information at the bottom of the screen. So it's as colorwork goes, from my understanding, it's a fairly simple colorwork pattern. Sorry, the cat is into something over there, so she's distracting me. However, as I was starting to say, the mittens, I'll show you, they're a little bit too tight for me, unfortunately. There, take off this ring. So I'm at the point where I'm coming up to the top of the knees, and I don't know if you can see how tight that is, but it's a little bit tighter than I want. It fits well, and I'm really pleased with my first attempt at colorwork. I think that my stitches are nice and even, but I want it to be a little bit looser. So I'm going to that's the other side of the mitten. So once I realized that these were a little bit too tight, and then I thought about, Christmas is coming. It was already the end of November when I signed up for the class, and I thought, well, if Christmas is coming, perhaps I should be focusing more on Christmas gifts than I should be on mittens for myself. So I casually flung that aside and started something else. And this is a pattern from, if you're following Helen Stewart's Knit Vent 2016 pattern club, then you'll know this. If not, I'll show it to you. It's called the Boreal Forest Cowell. Hopefully the camera will focus and you can see that there. And this is done by a guest designer for Knit Vent, by Renee Callahan, who is from East London Knit. I'll show you again. And I think it's a gorgeous colorwork pattern. And it was reputed, Helen had said that this was a fairly easy to follow, easy to memorize pattern. So I thought, okay, I should be able to cope with that. So I gave it a start, and You can see it looks a bit like a porcupine because I have so many stitch markers so that I can remember the rows, or so I can remember where the patterns are. Let me try and get this fairly flat for you so that you can, hopefully you can see the pattern. So you should be able to see a teal and sort of white multicolored yarn down here, and then up here more pinks and purples, and then, or pinks and whites, and up here I'm moving to a pink and purple before I go back to the green. So this pattern calls for six layers of these repeats. I may, in the interest of both time and practicality, once I have the four repeats done, I'm actually going to take it off the needles and try it on, because I suspect this is quite a tall. You can see from the let me see if I can show you another picture. You can see from the picture that this cowl is quite tall, and I'm not sure if I want it to be, I'm not showing you anything here that shouldn't be seen because this is a paid pattern with knit band. You can see it's quite a tall cowl, and I'm thinking that four repeats may be enough of the pattern. So like I said, I'm going to take it off and waste yarn once I get another teal finished, or teal repeat finished. And you may or may not remember, but back in episode 1, 2, or 3, anyway, one of my first episodes, I had shown you a cabled hat that I had done. And again, I'll put the information on the bottom of the screen. That hat pattern is the teal that I'm using, and the cowl is the same color, and they're meant to be a set for a Christmas gift for a very special lady in my life. So that's what I'm working on there. My next work in progress that I want to show you is my Pure Joy shawl. And as I said, because I so casually flung it to one side and started working on a colorwork cowl, and I have to say, colorwork, I don't know about anybody else, but I am very slow at knitting colorwork. It is taking me 2 days to knit 8 or 9 rows, and that's if I'm really focused and making sure I'm getting those rows knit, because it takes me 15 minutes or so to knit one row. So it's definitely a labor of love. I really love how it's turning out, but I really enjoy the intricacy is not too complicated. It's keeping me really interested, but I'm not really enjoying. I guess I find it a bit tedious. So I'm hoping that that's something that will improve for me over time. And I'm also knitting. I'm knitting one strand or two stitches, and then I'm dropping my yarn and carrying another one over. And I've heard that there may be a way of knitting colorwork using 2 fingers, so perhaps that's something that I will try out in the future, and that'll help speed up my knitting. Who knows? We'll see. So here's my Pure Joy shawl. Amanda, sorry about this. I stopped mid-row, so it's going to be a little bit hard for me to show you. So I am on the last wedge. You can see from where's my stitch marker? You can see from my cute little stitch marker there that I have done a fair bit of knitting on the Pure Joy. I'm on the last wedge, the last and only wedge that has this melon color in my choice of colorway for the shawl. As I said, because I stopped halfway, I can't show you the entire length of the shawl, but it is a really nice length. The yarn is knitting up really nice and softly. The problem with it now is that it's long. The repeats it's getting longer and longer. And I know that this is the last wedge, but it is something that I have to sit down and watch TV to do, because it is a very, now that I know the pattern, it's very easy, and I don't want to say boring, but I am finding the color work, for example, much more interesting. The Pure Joy at this stage is a little bit of a slog, I will admit. So I need to be watching TV or something very exciting, some fast action TV or a movie, so that I can get through the rest of the Pure Joy shawl. Because this is a shawl that I'm knitting for myself and not for somebody else, I'm also making my Christmas present knitting a priority. Some of my knitting presents are being sent away. They're going to people who anticipate that my parcels are late, and that's okay. A couple other of my projects that are being knit for people locally, I also have to get working on. So I'm really trying to concentrate in getting this cowl done so then I can work on my other projects. And that makes me excited. I am, like I said, enjoying the color work, but it is taking me a long time, a lot longer than I had anticipated. I want to talk a little bit about some acquisitions this week. I have been really fortunate, and I guess the knitting and crocheting community has been really fortunate in that this is the time of the year when the Get Your Wishes Granted thread is running on Instagram. And this is my first year being involved. I only joined Instagram in the fall, so this is my first time being involved in that particular thread. And I had granted somebody's wish, which was, they wanted a pattern from the wish list on Ravelry, which I granted. And the way that Get Your Wish Granted works is that you put out there what your wish is, and then you follow the thread and grant other people's wishes, however many. So usually you would grant a wish and then wish for something, grant a wish, wish for something. I just did it once because I wanted to see how it worked out, and that was it was really enjoyable. And to be honest, because everybody was so excited about granting wishes, it was really hard to find a wish that hadn't already been granted. So I just did it the once, and I was really lucky in that one of my regular Instagram followers, Hunter's Ma, hello there. I'm not going to say your real name on camera because you may or may not appreciate that. But anyway, she had agreed to be my little wish fairy for the thread, the Get Your Wish Granted thread this year. And I had wished for a skein of fingering weight yarn that was in jewel tones and nice and soft. And this is a skein of the gorgeousness that she sent me. Isn't that just beautiful? It also came with, I don't know if you can see it, a tiny little owl progress keeper. So this yarn is by Australia Skein Artisan Yarn and Fiber. Apparently it was established in 2010, so it's all the way from Australia. It's their top drawer sock base. It's a 4-ply, 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon, 437 yards. This colorway is called Hot Mess. And I'm not going to take it all the way off. I'm not really good at re-skeining yarn, so I don't want to take it all the way off and then not being able to skein it up, but I want to show you the colors. And look at this end. You can see that there's speckles on that end of rust. So there's purples in here, turquoise, green, and rust. It's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I wouldn't have done a better job picking this out for myself. And the fact that it's from Australia makes it even more special. So thank you so much for sending this to me. I really appreciate it. And I can't wait for the next Get Your Wish Granted thread for next year. It was really exciting. The other thing that I want to talk about is that when I started podcasting, I think I mentioned before I wasn't really sure what to expect. And I've already met several, and I'm in the process of making really good friends in the knitting community and the podcasting community, people who are sending me presents, I'm sending things out. It's just a really exciting back and forth sharing community that I'm really excited about. And one of my viewers, whose name is SS, who has the business on Etsy called Premium Handmade, and sent me a lovely parcel this week. So I'm just going to get out her business card. I'll put the information at the bottom of the screen as well. So SS was really, really generous. So this is her card. Isn't that pretty? Orange is my favorite color, so I love her cards. So she sent me, SS does their yarn packages, for lack of a better description. So here it is. There is a bag. There's this gorgeous yarn. This colorway is called Birds and Butterflies. It's in her Rosanna sock space, 436 yards, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And I'm really hoping you can see that because this colorway is stunning. Let me turn it around. Isn't that beautiful? So this came in the parcel along with these gorgeous stitch markers. Came in the parcel. The bag is a nice size. It's got this lovely handle on it, so it makes it easy to carry. Nice zippered bag. The zipper pull also has SS's Premium Handmade. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's Krytyum, Krytyum Premium Handmade. So there's a cute little zipper pull that goes on this bag. I love that it's see-through, so I can see my project that I'm working on. This is my first see-through project bag, and I'm really excited about it. And in the kit, it also comes with a DPN cozy. So SS was really, really generous, and not only did I get an entire package, and I forgot, there's a cute little Notions, see-through again, cute little Notions pouch that goes with the kit. It's a little tassel on it, so then you can see everything that's in your Notions pouch. So, SS also sent me another full kit. Look at this. Look at that gorgeousness and generosity. So she sent me another full kit to use as a prize, as a giveaway. And I'm not sure what giveaway I'm going to use this for, if it'll be for mine and Sandy's make-along, or if I suspect I'm going to use this for a different make-along or sew-along or something like that come in the new year. So SS, thank you so much for your very, very generous gift. I love it. I absolutely love the yarn. She had gotten in contact with me and asked me what colors I like, and that's really hard for me to answer because I love all color. I love the blues and the pinks and the greens and the speckles and everything about these skeins of yarn. They're just absolutely gorgeous. So there's two here. One's a little bit darker than the other. I have no idea which one I'm going to pick, but one of them will be staying with me and the other one will be going to a new home sometime in the new year. So SS, again, thank you so much for your generosity and kindness. These were actually developed by her specifically for the Fourboysandanlgirl podcast, which is really, really flattering and something I can't believe anybody would do for me. So thank you so much. More of the kits are available in her shop, and I'll put all the information on how to contact her on the screen. There's more available in the shop, and they're made to order. And she said that the project bag fabric may be different, but the yarn colorway and the concept of a see-through bag, the DPN holder, the Notions, and etc., all those are available in one kit. So if you're interested, please go and check her out. Check out her Etsy shop. I'm going to be going back because I follow her on Instagram, and she's been posting several of the things that she's been dyeing up recently, and there's some absolutely gorgeous yarn on there. And I can tell you right now, the yarn is super soft. This is gorgeous, and it smells really good too. So I just love it. So thank you so much again. I'm just thrilled. I'm over the moon. That parcel came today, and she had let me know on Instagram that it was coming, and I was so excited to receive it today. It made for a really nice ahead of the holidays gift. So thank you. I want to talk a little bit about, I haven't done this before on my podcast, but talk about a couple of things that I would be interested in knitting sometime in the near future, or crocheting, or rug hooking. Oh, rug hooking. I won't forget to show you my rug hooking as well now in a minute. I'm hoping that I can put these on the screen, or at least in between slides, so you can see what I'm talking about. One of them is the Knitting for Peace cowl, and I have to admit I had planned on starting the Knitting for Peace cowl at the beginning of the month, but two things happened. Mainly, I had already started the colorwork cowl that I'm working on, and with that I didn't have time to cast on for another cowl, so I'm trying to knit a few rows of the colorwork cowl. I'm thinking of that as kind of my Knitting for Peace cowl, even though it's not following that pattern. That information I'll put on the screen as well if you haven't heard of it before. I'm sure that it's not too late for you to join into the movement, and it's a really lovely thought by the creator of this peace knitting movement, in that she's putting some information on her blog once a day about either a peaceful thought or a quote or something that you can do to make yourself more mindful about the world and about bringing peace to the world. So it's really, really fun and really thoughtful. So there's that. There's a triangle Santa, and I'll put that picture up. So that triangle Santa is an ornament I would love to make this year for Christmas, if I can find the time. I am interested in making a snowflake bunting. I've started 2 snowflakes, and I want to make a bunting to go along with my lights here. So that's something I want to work on. I want to make some larger project bags for knitting. I have a lot of different projects on the go, and I would love to have all of them, or at least most of them, in their own project bags. The cats are really good about my yarn and about knitting. and not getting into the yarn. However, I mean, there's dust. There's certainly a lot of dust in my house. And with the kids going by with sticky fingers, I would really prefer to have my items in a project bag to protect them. So now I'm going to show you what I've been hooking. Hi again, I had to run and get my rug hooking project. You're not going to notice, but if I sound a little out of breath, it's because I just went up and down the stairs. So we had the, as you know, I'm a member of the Rug Hooking Guild in Newfoundland and Labrador, and one of my area hook-ins was this past Sunday. And for the first time in a very long time, I had nothing on my frame, my rug hooking frame, which is very unusual for me. So you can't very well go to a hook-in and not be hooking on something. People sometimes do come and knit, but I really wanted to have a project. So I brought all the things that I needed. I knew I wanted to make either something Christmassy or wintry, and so I drew out a pattern of my burlap, cut it out, and started hooking. And this is what I came up with. This is Sammy the Snowman. He's a work in progress. Though he's almost finished, he needs a mouth. I put a little poll on Instagram and everybody agreed he needs a mouth. He needs 3 buttons on his belly, and he needs the purple, the stippled outline border and the purple filled in, and then he'll be all finished. I really hope that the camera's picking up on Sammy. I'm just going to move this a little bit further. So there's his face. I used a cute little button for his nose, and there's the rest of his body. So hopefully you can see that. So I think I'm going to just use this wavy line as the outside border, and I'm going to whip stitch around, which will be fairly finicky. I haven't whip stitched anything quite this close before, so we'll see how hopefully that'll work out. And if not, I guess I'm back to the drawing board with Sammy. If not, I'll do something else to finish him to make sure that he turns out well. And I wanted, like I said, I wanted something that was wintry, Christmassy. This is kind of along the lines of the bunting I had done a few weeks ago, in that I want to have things that I can leave out or put out after Christmas that I can enjoy through the winter, and not just have Christmas decorations out and have the house bare once I put the Christmas decorations away. So there's Sammy. All right, so that is about all I had to talk to you about on the podcast today. We have most of our Christmas shopping done, yay! And presents in the mail. I had ordered cards. They're on their way here, so I can get those addressed and sent out. Next is Christmas baking time. So when I talk to you next week, hopefully I will have some more baking done. I already have a couple dozen Christmas squares in the freezer, and I'm planning on doing some baking again this afternoon, which the boys always love because they get to sample. And that's going to be what I'm going to be doing over the next few weeks: knitting and hooking and baking, and who knows, I might get some sewing or something else thrown in there as well. I forgot to talk about mine and Sandy. Sandy over at the By the Lakeside podcast are hosting a crafty winter make-along. And in the make-along, you can make basically whatever you want. It can be sewing, hooking, it could be knitting, crocheting, it could be rug hooking, it could be quilting, whatever you're working on, we would like to see it. If you check under my Ravelry thread, and I'll put the information at the bottom because I've given out the wrong information about the Ravelry group title. So that's the correct title, will be down at the bottom of the screen. So people have joined. I think there's over 50 members now, which is awesome. There's been some finished objects posted already, which is absolutely awesome. And so I want as many people with as many projects to join as possible. So each project or each finished object is one finished object, so you have one opportunity to win in the thread. Sandy is also hosting a finished object thread with in her Ravelry group at By the Lakeside, and I'll put her information down at the bottom of the screen as well. So you have 2 opportunities to win, either through Sandy or myself. You can double dip, and obviously, yes, you can double or triple or quadruple dip in any podcaster's make-along, craft-along that's happening on Instagram or Ravelry or wherever. We've got no problem with that. So I hope as many people as possible can get involved in the make-along, because we really enjoy hosting it. And I've got presents ready to go for the end of January already, and it'll be great to see what you're working on. So I hope you enjoyed the podcast. I like to keep my podcasts at least around half an hour, under half an hour in length, so that it's enough time for you to sit down and knit a bit and have a cup of tea or coffee and just relax. And I hope that you enjoyed it. I know I really have. It's been nice to get back into the podcast seat again this week. Hopefully I don't miss too many of them, because it was a little bit nerve-wracking for me to start taping again this afternoon when I had a little bit of a break there. So hopefully I won't have too many breaks in between from podcast to podcast. So again, thanks so much for joining me and watching. And I hope that you find some time this week to do some type of craft that makes your heart happy. Take care. Bye-bye.